All right, I don't know if I should call this video the watch list video for Monday, June 10th, or if I should call it My Pathetic Life, because it's Friday night and here I am looking at stocks and making a watch list video. Kind of sad. The wife's out of town and I'm always lost without her. So that's where I am. Pretty sad, right? All right, anyway, so another big day in the SPY. Amazing bounce from, what, 4 or 5 sessions ago? Pretty amazing. So I'm going to go right in. Well, no, before I go into the watch list, let me do a couple things. One, I'm going to direct you to our website, greatstockpicks.com. Actually, bam, there is the home page. Wait for it. All right, and then just click on Trading Course at the top there. And because weekends are a great time to study. This is a free 37-minute video. We spliced 37 minutes right out of our trading course. This was taken from the A+ setup section, and it's one of the ways we trade low float, low price morning gap plays. So if you're interested in that, go watch it. Perfectly free, and I think there's a lot of good stuff in there, and it kind of gives you a little window into our methodology, and hopefully you'll see how thorough we are as far as covering, the reasons behind entries, right? I always say I can give 2 or 3 reasons why I take any given trade, and because so-and-so called it isn't one of them, right? I mean, chart-based reasons. And if you can't, we actually teach our students to pretend you've got an imaginary trader standing over your shoulder. Every time you take a trade, you have to explain to that trader why you took it, right? If you can't do that, don't take the damn trade. All right, so that, and then I also wanted to go into this real quick because I tweeted my entry on, which is Coors. TAP is the symbol TAP today. I tweeted this, it might look like I'm bragging, and I absolutely am. How often do you pick a sell-off like this, the bottom, within 6 cents? My bid was 55.81, my fill was 55.81. That's what these two categories are. And it went down to 55.75. Somebody emailed me and asked me why I chose that area, right? Because this wasn't a call in chat. The only thing I wrote in chat was, hey, TAP getting shape, right? But I don't like calling those in chat because I remember when I was learning to trade, every one of my trading death spirals started with one of those trying to pick the bottom, right? And so I know human nature is to, if you say you buy something that's getting in shape like this and maybe you buy it here and it keeps falling, most people don't have the discipline to just hit out of the trade, because the mindset, the way the human brain works is, well, man, this has fallen so far, it has to bounce back, so I'm just going to buy more. And that's what's happened to me many, many times when I was learning to trade. I had that mindset. Well, it's come so far. I started out small, and I've started out with 100 shares on something like this thinking, how bad could it get? And then it drops $2, and I say to myself, well, I'm not going to take a $200 loss when this thing has to snap back. So next thing you know, I'm buying 400 more, then 800 more, and before you know it, I've turned what would have been a $200 loss, starting with 100 shares, into a $6,000 loss on the day. I've literally done that. So that is why I rarely call these in chat, but I do want to explain why I picked 55.81. So I already, I found this on my scanner, just lighten up my, whatever that's called, stocks getting killed scanner, right? And I look and I say, well, it's already got downside shape, right? Big volume, it's accelerating to the downside. So I look and I say, well, there's a whole number. I at least I want to bid below this whole number because I'm always looking for a whole number flush, but let me look at the daily chart and see if this area even makes sense. I'm not just going to grab a bid below any whole number, but a lot of times they'll take out the next whole number, flushing out the stops, and then they'll reverse. But I switched to the daily at this point, and look what happened. So remember that 5-minute chart where it was getting downside shape. Look to the left. What do you have? You have a gap fill right there. From here to here, it gapped up. This day, it closed at 55.90. So I'm already thinking, okay, I think it's going to flush 56. And 55.81 was a little bit arbitrary, but it was just down there in the in the 80s below. Anyway, long story short, nailed the bottom within 6 cents. And that's not something, I almost never take these kind of trades anymore. But and one other caveat, I wouldn't have done it if it was a company that I had no idea what they do, or if it was a biotech, right? Because it might be people dying taking their drug or something. But it's Coors. So I thought, how bad can this news be, right? Anyway, worked out pretty well. And just one other note, I would have killed that if it dropped, 50 or 60 cents below my entry. And I took it with size such that if I lost 50 or 60 cents, I'd have been perfectly fine. So just keep that in mind too. All right, what am I watching for Monday? Real quick, NEPT, big breakout on Friday, which is today. It's still Friday. Got an hour left. But it is worth noting, I'm going to switch to weekly candles and really pan out. So we're going back several years here. This thing certainly tops out at 5, and it's gotten there pretty quickly. Now, I think they had a deal with Tilray, TLRY, so maybe that's enough to have a follow-through day, but just keep in mind it's definitely ahead of itself in the short term and up into resistance, so I don't love it. RWLK, wow, RWLK, speaking of having the right stocks on your watch list, just having here's a tip I can give to any newer trader: have the recent movers on charts in front of you. Okay, there was probably 3 different people in chat today, and this was on our watch list, by the way. There's probably 3 different people in chat today that mentioned this little tight base or tight range, kind of a tight flag that topped out at 560. Not me, but a few people did. And then the early high of day is just above 572. So you break this little flag, you might light up the new highs ticker with the recent action back here, and had that huge move in after hours. This was a great candidate for a little mini squeeze, right? I sent my order trying to get, as the 560 seller was getting taken out. I did a limit of 562. I got filled 9 shares. And get this, I got filled 9 shares at 560, but 0 shares at 61 or 62, which is weird. And I just resolved to say, well, screw it. I'm not going to chase. And it was still a huge mistake. I should have chased, right? I guess I could have just bought the high of day break. But anyway, that was an annoying occurrence for me. 9 shares. And it ended up ripping. So anyway, it goes back on watch because you had this big 2-day sell-off after the monster gap, and it's really turning up pretty nicely. So we definitely want to watch that one. ELTK, what's the other one? I'll go to it a little bit. ELTK is starting to turn back up. If I switch to like 15-minute candles, it seems to have found support here in the 475 area. So maybe it's up from here after that monster move. We did have a couple nice trades in that one today. Speaking of Tilray, TLRY seems to have bottomed around 35, a little bit of extra volume today, and closed pretty strong, so we're going to see if that has a follow-through day on Monday. CTRV is the other one I wanted to show you. This had a huge move, I want to say in pre-market yesterday, and then when it opened all the way up here, it ripped for a little bit, but then had a nasty reversal. Still well ahead of where it was, and you can see this 1 for 70 recent reverse split, right? So Jane, one of my favorite members because I make a lot of money off of Jane's posts, she lives in the UK, and man, she is religious about keeping recent movers on her watch list. And I wasn't watching CTRV, and she posts in chat, I like CTRV as an opening range breakout. Now, in our chat room, for those of you that aren't in our chat room, you can select anyone you want, any member or any moderator, and put them on your hot list and set it up to give you an audible alert when anybody on your hot list, any member, whoever you choose to put on there, posts something. So you can literally get an audible alert. It makes the room itself a fantastic scanner. And so Jane, and I would venture to say Jane's probably on everybody's hot list. She called this as an opening range breakout, which is basically through 704 area. And it ended up going to 11. So huge move. Having said that, that's why it's on watch. Again, it closed well off of its highs. But anyone who's short is fully aware of what this thing did on Friday, right? 7 to 11 without really looking back much. So if this gives a kind of a narrow range and then an upside break on Monday, you could get another squeeze, all right? That's the thinking behind that. INSY, big pop Thursday, quiet inside day on Friday, but closed above its open. So this might look good if it takes out Friday's high on Monday. Stitch Fix, SFIX, gapped up, sold off, and then it's kind of already starting to turn right back up. Want to watch that one. And then GNCA. If this is going to bounce, I really wanted to do it on Monday because it really started about 4, went all the way to 11, and is almost round tripped. And you people that are in the chat room know that I am not a huge fan of something that's a recent high flyer but has completely round tripped, because then really nobody's winning. So this one, it's come down into the 200 day from above after this big move. So this is where I'm hoping it'll hold, and maybe we get a nice bounce on Monday. Keep in mind when you watch my videos, I'm in cash every night. I don't own anything right now. These are all potential trades, if we get proper intraday setups on Monday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm done babbling. See you guys on Monday.